yesterday, I was 8 years old watching Disney Channel movies and kid TV shows of that time, looking up to the role models in shows like That's So Raven, Lizzie McGuire, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and many more, laughing at what I thought at the time were funny jokes and silly actions the characters would make. Fast forward today and realize the difference in focus and the disappearance of innocence. We are shown jaded and unfortunate characterizations in today's world of influenced media. In a world constantly changing, there are some things that stay constant. This is especially true when viewing human beings and see how they share the same behavior patterns, thinking as someone from the past. People are people, and that's just plain human nature. When one is very young, they tend to look up to those that are bigger and taller. Today's innocent adolescents will greatly contribute to how the world would be like in the generations to come. Bringing them up into our society the right way is essential if we hope to maintain time-tested cultural and moral standards. In an article submitted by Zakia Tyson and Cultural Gender Women states, a research report commissioned by the Newspaper Association of American Foundation Fitting into Their Lives, a survey of 3 studies about youth media usage by Vivian Wahlberg found that young people spend about as much as consuming media every day 7 hours and 39 minutes as their parents spend working. It may seem like no big deal to the adults, but to young minds, they will take everything they see and do it themselves, without thinking it was right or wrong thing to do. One of the major things the media portrays to adolescents is the lack of focus on those areas of real importance in life, constantly worrying about temporary things like beauty and materialism, and definitely a problem that needs a solution. We see reality TV shows reflecting those irrelevant worries and target that focus to younger viewers. In an article written by Holly Peak, MD, posted in Hot Topics titled The Impact of Reality TV and Our Teens, What Can Parents Do?, states, based off the rather highly viewed TV show, The Kardashians showed their practice of featuring their ordinary, everyday lives are highly sexualized, included the pages of the youngest teenage members of the family, perpetuates the notion that real people gain popularity and happiness by focusing on the appearance, and to be successful, personal image, even at a very young age, should be laced with sexuality. An adolescent needs to appreciate their childhood and not run straight into adulthood. Holly Peak also makes a reference to other reality TV shows' materialism influence by stating, both Rich Kids of Beverly Hills and Shaw's of Sunset feature the lives of privileged young adults living in Southern California. They take extravagant trips, wear designer clothes, spend a lot of money on alcohol-fueled parties, and are rarely seen working regular jobs. While we can view from the outside how the media influences adolescents externally surrounding beauty and image, we can also see the internal impact as well. This includes having a poor sense of morality with corresponding bad behavior. When you're young, you are vulnerable to swearing, being disrespectful, and ignoring authority. But most importantly, they are vulnerable to destroying their whole lives. Media influences them to do things like getting pregnant just because of a popular TV show. In an article titled, Are Current Portrayals of Teenagers on Television Appropriate?, Michelle Hankins, who runs an organization designed to help young mothers, told ABC News' Julu Chang and Milia Patricia, there is no fear and shame in teen pregnancy anymore. Seeing all these teen moms in the media makes young girls less fearful. It's desensitized them. There's just immunity to the shock value of it. This leads young teens to want to get pregnant so they can get recognized and given attention. So to see how the media manipulates adolescents' mind needs to be stopped. One of the greatest solutions to these types of problems is by teaching teenagers correct behavior traits. Whether you're an educator, parent, or even just a friend, even one simple lesson can make a huge difference in a young person's life. As posted by Influence Guide and titled Facts About the Influence of Media on Young People, that we should teach the children the value of inner beauty and value of self-worth. Teaching them that what they see is not what the world is supposed to be, that there is a lot of people and organizations that do try to make the world a better place. For example, show them the shows and even movies that are good and portray the right kind of behavior and the way of thinking. Show them the type of childhood you had. Play outside and enjoy just being yourself in your life instead of being cocooned inside, glued to your couch watching people that are showing off their success. Getting more schools to teach students influence in media is also important. As PMC stated on the impact of media use on children and youth, they give students more understanding of how the media may affect them socially. Those that don't have the privilege of parents teaching them can rely on educators and counselors in school. By giving the students a basic foundation of what's important and real to their lives and what isn't, gives young minds the ability to start their own critical thinking when viewing questionable media. Another solution to back up teaching would be to monitor the adolescents. Parents in particular need to keep an eye out for their children and what they're watching. In an adolescent's mind, they find certain behaviors that we may find disturbing and inappropriate to be interesting and grow more curious into finding out more about it. This is where it can get dangerous. To give the children unlimited time to watch TV, other ways of media, will help minimize disruptive thinking. Lastly, being able to communicate directly to media companies in an attempt to convince them to include better shows and advertising on TV is a solution I think the entire community can do. Prove to these companies that more positive options can be created and be financially successful, that there are shows with commercials with positive message that are getting more noticed. So if the community can come together to form an organization that will fight for what's right, then a solid case will definitely make an influence. Knowing that we have to hear the solutions to these kind of problems and actually see what kind of result might actually come from it. And every problem, we can see its cause and effect, both before the problem was fixed and after the resolution. So let's just first see what the cause and effect is occurring today and what the world just might be like if simple little changes were made. A 13-year-old girl is on her laptop when she noticed a new show, The Kardashians, came out. She decided to watch a few episodes just for fun and the curiosity of it. Once she started, she couldn't stop. Episode after episode, she drowned herself in the show, learning that in order to get noticed, you must look like someone totally different in order to gain attention. Ignoring her parents and doing things with other people her age and older thought was cool, not realizing those things could change their life forever. Now here's another world, a better one, to the solutions to these problems. A 13-year-old girl is on her laptop when she notices a new show, Home and Family, came out. She decided to watch a few episodes for the fun and curiosity of it. She saw the light, funny humor and cute remarks the funny show made, put a smile on her face. Once she finished watching the few episodes, she went on with her day, being herself, not someone she isn't. Because that is what her parents in school taught her to be. She and other people her age and older knows that media can influence and manipulate young minds. Spending only a limited time watching media and spending more time enjoying life and the important things that matter. So now that we have seen what can come from these little changes, there are even simpler things you can do. If you have a child, younger family member, or neighbor, and you're possibly concerned about how media's influence may affect them, just talk to them about it. It's as easy as that. Listen to them and understand what they think is important in life. Show them gently what the world would be like I explained in the beginning. Instead of living in the shadow, you can live in the light. Remember that they are the next generation. Let's try to make it better. They might one day be in your shoes giving other young people advice about dealing with media's influence. Though it may seem like a long process, it is quite simple to see the end result. Media has a way to influence the young without us knowing it, and that's not always good based on the type of media that they are influenced. I discussed the problem and need for a change in media's influence targeted at young people. I then provided the solutions and visualization of what exactly the world might be like. Finally, I provided you the little actions you can do to make even one child understand what's actually important in the world. Without knowing it, we too also learn when we teach the young. By putting the same steps into our life, the world can grow to be a bigger and better place for all ages.